Hi my friends, and welcome to today's reading. This is a reading I've been wanting to do for a long time and I'm very excited about it. We'll start by reading from one of these mystical books, opening to a random page and just seeing what we find. Doing a little bit of bibliomancy before getting into our cartomancy. So, whichever one is drawing you in, whether it's the image, the name, the color, or just an intuitive feeling of which one is right for you, that will be your reading. So we have pile 1 here with Myrrhsea's ecstatic poems, pile 2 here with Divine Mercy in My Soul, which is Sister Faustina Kowalska's diary, pile 3 here will be Tears and Laughter by Khalil Gibran, and pile 4 will be the Tao Te Ching by Lao Tzu. So pick your choice and let's get started. Hi group 1, you chose Myrrhsea's ecstatic poems. Myrrhsea was a bhakti yogi who gave up her position of status and power in the world in order to devote her life to Krishna. She was kind of extreme. I believe she was actually executed. But yeah, basically she was a Hindu mystic who devoted her life to the divine, and we will be reading from her works today. So to dance for the Dark One is all the clothing Mira needs. I am dancing only for my master. All I want is to please him and keep his eyes. The gold chains I wear on my ankles are love of Shyam. My dancing dress is my faithfulness to him. I've stripped off shame and family custom to go to bed with the Dark One. Body and mind, Mira wears only the colors of God. So, remembering this is poetry, not to be taken so literally, what she's talking about here is dancing with the divine, dancing with Krishna. And in the Bhakti tradition, part of that is to see Krishna in all people, in all beings. So maybe she was dancing for somebody in this. Maybe those of you who chose this pile are receiving a little bit more of a romantic reading compared to our other authors today. The line I keep being brought to is I've stripped off shame and family custom to go to bed of the Dark One. To go to the bed of the Dark One. So, yeah, maybe some of this group is releasing their own family customs and what they've been taught, potentially shame that they've inherited from their family, and perhaps this group is slowly learning to settle into themselves authentically, no matter how strange it might be. I feel like I've read something before where like everyone thought that Mira was crazy because of her ecstatic love and union with God. So that might be a part of your theme, pile 1, is that you might seem strange in the eyes of your family of origin, but within your spiritual family and your soul family and your community, who you are is beautiful, and who you are is your connection with the source, with the divine. Doing things for love. Interesting. There might even be something with balancing right brain and left brain. I'm just thinking because I did open the book a few times before this reading, and that's the first time I actually saw an image So, you know, left brain words, right brain artistic images. What's the most important message for group 1? Those who chose Myrrhsea's ecstatic poems. That's too many. I'm gonna take all those. Okay, we will take those. You have self-study, meditation, honor others, dedication to purpose. You have white sage. It says cleanse. My phone just dinged too, so maybe that one's really important for you guys. We have malachite, heal. And santosha, contentment. Yeah, so malachite makes me think of the heart chakra, healing the heart, which again is interesting with the Myrrhsea. The white sage, I wonder if part of this is cleansing away those, again, those ideas, those shames, those inherited beliefs that are not true to you so that you can really be yourself. Cleansing away feelings of doubt, cleansing away learned patterns that keep you from connecting with your higher self, with your intuition, with the divine, with others. And healing those wounds that maybe have to do with not enoughness, because with santosha, contentment, it makes me think of like that feeling of contentment comes once the rest of those preconceived notions or learned ideas are washed away. To be fully content with yourself, with your life, your community, your career, all of that almost comes secondary from the true internal feeling of santosha or contentment, which is to feel content with life regardless of what it looks like. And it's sort of the yogic equivalent of the Buddhist equanimity, to just feel as though whatever it is okay. That you are okay. And my phone dinged again, so. Pull your next card, this little stand to put it on. And a message of silence, a message of forgiveness, a message of evolution. Alright, flipped over. You have 2 that flipped over. So one of them is the color yellow, which relates to the energy of the solar plexus. So maybe working on personal empowerment, physical strength, what brings you joy, what makes you feel confident. And perhaps what you're releasing are ideas, beliefs, or habits that keep you separate from that energy of feeling empowered, powerful in general. Like you have control in your life, but you're also not trying to control your life. There's a balance here of surrendering to what is while putting in the daily work, but in a joyful way. Not as much out of fear or instability or shame that if you don't, you're not enough, but more so because it dinged again when I said that you're not enough. I feel like that's a huge message here, is enoughness. But doing these things because they add to your life and they contribute to your life and your well-being, physically, mentally, emotionally, and spiritually. And then you have a practice here. It says place hands in front of heart, palms facing up, Inhale to lift cup hands to eye level. Exhale to return hands to heart. This is how I carry the blessings of my teachers. So perhaps you're in a place of learning right now. And maybe there are new practices that you're bringing into your life in this carrying the blessings of your teachers. I wonder if there's something about seeing the truth of your heart, bringing the hands from the heart to eye level and back to the heart, bringing the awareness of your heart, and then bringing awareness back into the heart. I'm also just noticing how bland kind of these colors are. And I wonder if part of this healing is letting in more vibrancy and color into your life, letting go of these burdens that make life feel dull, and allowing yourself to have both the responsibility and the play. And just cut to Five of Pentacles 2, which is the card of not enoughness. It's the final message for this group, for this healing, this cleansing, what can help them come into this feeling of contentment. You got the Two of Pentacles, which talks about balance. So finding balance in your life, somewhat walking the middle path and allowing yourself to have maybe both the familiar and the known and the unfamiliar unknown. Letting yourself have a balance of effort and ease, of responsibility and play. Is there any final message? Yes. At the bottom you have the Fool, which wanted to come out in my hand, so we'll take that too. I feel like this is the energy that you are coming into, is the Fool energy. Letting yourself be reborn, letting yourself be a novice, letting yourself start again. At the bottom you have the Devil. So I feel like this is just working through, most importantly, working through past beliefs, past traumas, and past habits that again are keeping you disconnected from God, from your intuition, from your personal power, from your personal joy. And then you have the Star and the Empress. That is beautiful. Guys, every single one of these is major arcana. Except for the Two of Pentacles, every single one of these is the major arcana. So as a final message for you here, sorry about the shadows also, I need to change the light I think for the next reading, but the Star talks about wish fulfillment and dreams coming true, but as you see it here, it's like somebody reached the point where they got down on their knees and they prayed for what they wanted. And then the Empress is all about beauty, abundance, fertility, creativity, joy, parenthood even. I also think it's interesting to see two characters here reaching for the ground and two other characters here reaching up to the sky. So maybe this is the balance within yourself, reaching down for grounding and reaching up for enlightenment and expansion and ecstatic bliss. This also talks about spiritual creativity and the way that we create every day. So again, this could be coming back to habits and thoughts of like, what are you creating with your thoughts and habits every day, and how can you become more aware and conscious of those so that you can clear away and heal those that are no longer serving you, and finally come into this place of santosha, contentment. So pile one, that was your reading. I'm wishing you so much healing light in your life and awareness to be shined on these thoughts and patterns that are blocking you and keeping you from this contentment, because you have so much powerful energy behind you helping you heal and work through this. if you can see the evolution here, you have the devil and the dark forest here, and then the Fool character is choosing to, it looks like, go that way, looking at the rainbow path, instead of the path of illusion, delusion, darkness, pain, and heavy karma. It's looking to that path of levity and inspiration with the star. So I hope that you guys find that inspiration and you really let it help you move from this place of doubt and lack and blandness to a place of excitement and play and creativity and joy, and most of all contentment, and that you can find balance in that process. And that's what I wish for you, Group 1. So thank you so much for taking the time to listen to today's reading. If you liked it, I would so appreciate a like, a subscribe, a comment, letting me know how this resonated with you. And I hope to see you next time. Bye. Hi, Group 2. Welcome to your reading. You chose Divine Mercy in My Soul, the Diary of Sister M. Faustina Kowalska. I don't know much about this nun, besides that she is a Catholic nun. But let's see what we've got. I first looked here, so I'm going to start here. The great majesty of God which pervaded me today and still pervades me awoke in me a great fear, but a fear filled with respect, and not the fear of a slave, which is quite different from the fear of respect. This fear, animated by respect, arose in my heart today because of love and the knowledge of the greatness of God, and that is a great joy to the soul. The soul trembles before the smallest offense against God, but that does not trouble or darken its happiness. There, where love is in charge, all is well. That's really beautiful. I get from this a deep humility within the spiritual path. And for some of you, you may come from a tradition that has more of a fear-based connection with the divine, or a fear-based connection of doing something wrong in the eyes of the divine. But remember that this is divine mercy in my soul, and mercy has a lot to do with forgiveness for that, and understanding that human nature sometimes does go against the quote-unquote will of God, again, whatever it is that you believe. The flow of the universe, your intuition, what your heart's telling you. Inevitably, all of us have pain and go against that sometimes, but I do feel as though now there is this great respect that's growing in you towards the divine, in which you're wanting to align more and more and more with that energy, where love is in charge, and where you live in the heart, where you live in the heart of God. The soul trembles before the smallest offense against God. I feel part of that too is seeing others as that reflection of the divine, and understanding that when we offense against them, we are offensing against the divine. Where love is in charge, all is well. I'm going to keep this page open. I also see this in bold in this retreat. I shall keep you continually close to my heart, that you may know, that you may better know my mercy, that mercy which I have for people and especially for poor sinners. That would be her response that she received from God in her prayer, with it bolded. In this retreat, I shall keep you continually close to my heart, that you may better know my mercy, that merely which I have for people and especially for poor sinners. Your first card says, my prayer to embody faith in myself. This is how I welcome forgiveness. Like that's forgiveness of the self. This is how it feels when I believe in myself. So I feel like group 2, you're forgiving yourself and learning to trust yourself again, because maybe in the past you have done like quote-unquote sin. I'll use that word since we're reading from this Catholic book. Because you've gone against your heart, what you've known to be true in your heart or your intuition in the past. It's important at this time that you forgive yourself for that, and that you have that same mercy with yourself that God or Christ would have. And that you believe in yourself again, and believe that you can do better, that you will do better. It's a lot of cards, but we'll take them. Are you willing to begin again today? These are the habits I'm creating to become my highest self. Huge. These, my actions, are my prayers going up. Beautiful. So I feel as though you're finally on this path of really embodying what it is you want to see, whereas before it may have been more of a disembodied prayer. And I do feel like you're beginning again, like maybe you did reach a sort of low point and you're working on forgiving yourself for that, forgiving yourself for going against what you knew was good and true, and beginning again. How will you serve from your heart today? This is the innermost temple. There's that heart energy again. Really listening to the voice of God in your life. And this is the prayer for evolution. This is my prayer for evolution. Yeah, to move beyond whatever those habits were, or those addictions, or those beliefs or behaviors that were keeping you distant from the divine. And then you have 2 more cards that are yellow related to the solar plexus, so dealing with willpower and your ability to act on what you want or what you know to be true, and having the capability to do that finally. It says place hands on your solar plexus just below your heart. Listen to your breathing, surrender, lose track, come back. These are the blessings I offer to the mothers and fathers. So maybe part of your healing process and forgiveness is forgiving your parents also. So the energies that are present here are the solar plexus, the heart, and the crown. So I feel as though this group is finally moving into the heart center and sort of bridging the gap between, what spirit tells them to do, what their intuition tells them to do, and what maybe their habitual human physical body self kept them in. You have truthfulness and beauty. Your truth is beautiful, and truth itself is beautiful. You have camel pose. So camel pose is a heart-opening yoga pose. Look it up on YouTube. You can find instruction for it. Interesting. So you have Santosha, contentment, which also came up for group 1. Mala, remember, and Dharma, concentration. Yeah, so I feel as though you've had multiple spiritual awakenings in the past, and perhaps you've just fallen off the path because of certain addictions, behaviors, habits, beliefs, or spirals that brought you down or away from it. But just remember that that's just how the path goes. We remember and then we forget. And we remember and then we forget. You're being called to return to your meditative practice. To help you experience that contentment of Santosha. Because it's from that stillness that you can truly feel contentment. And if we're always running around and doing and thinking and acting here, like maybe this was out of balance, and not getting still enough to listen to the crown chakra and to the heart, we won't know what to do unless we get into that still, quiet space. It's from that still, quiet space that we develop the deep knowing. There might be part of your practice changing for you to become prayer as well, especially again choosing a nun's book. Prayer might be becoming a part of your practice again to help shift you out of a negative mindset, to bring your focus back to the good, and especially the humble prayer for others, outside of yourself and your ego. And praying for the greatest good, praying for those in your life, giving thanks for those who have helped you arrive where you are. And through this selfless, active prayer in your meditative state, that is where you'll find that deep contentment with the glow of enlightenment in the little froggy's eyes. I also feel a message is like, what have you been concentrating on? Maybe shifting your focus. From the negative, positive, while also acknowledging the present situation. Final message for group 2 for their greatest good and the greatest good of all beings everywhere. You also have the Fool. You have the Fool and the World, the beginning, end, and ending. We're going to take those. Your reading looks a little messy. I don't know if life feels a little messy right now. Maybe it's time to be doing research and planning also at this time. I feel like first and foremost though, let yourself get still and like deeply quiet so that you can know where to act from. You have the Hermit that fell out reversed, and I feel like that's an energy, that we were just talking about, letting yourself get alone and still and truly quiet and to slip into those meditative states. And the Prince of Pentacles, which talks about slow movement. Yeah. Group 2, it's really important for you at this time to slow down. I think your solar plexus has been out of balance, and what's needed most is complete stillness for at least a part of your day, like 20 or 30 minutes of your day, complete silence and stillness, so that then when you do come into your solar plexus and choose to act in the world, it's coming from a place that's deeply informed by the divine and by the greatest good, instead of from a place of memory, fear, lack, habit, or addiction, and instead it's coming from a place of true connection with the divine. And that's how you'll maybe release this cycle finally with the World card and the Fool. Like this path that you're taking, it might take time, but if you can dedicate yourself to that stillness and that remembrance, you'll slowly come into that energy of contentment within your soul through being in that constant connection and dialogue with the divine, with a deep respect for the divine. And I feel like maybe instead of coming from a place of how can the divine serve me, coming from a place of how can I serve the divine, with an open heart, an open crown, and a solar plexus dedicated to drawing in energy from the crown, filtering it through the heart, and letting that be my action in the world. Group 2, you have a very clear hearing, and it comes through the silence and the stillness. Make sure to make that a priority. That is the end of your reading, though. Thank you so much for being here. I hope that this was helpful for you. And just know that the energy of a new beginning and a graduating from this cycle is here. If you can just concentrate and come into that stillness and silence, it is yours. The divine wants you to be a vessel for it, as much as you wish to be. It's like take one step towards God and God will take 5 steps towards you. So thank you so much, Group 2. If this resonated with you, I would love a like, a subscribe, a comment, and I just wish you the best on this journey. Thank you so much. Bye. Hi, Group 3, and welcome to your reading. You chose the book Tears and Laughter by Khalil Gibran. So I'm just going to read the inside flap for you about Khalil Gibran. Khalil Gibran, author of The Poet and many other famous works, is known throughout the world as the immortal prophet of Lebanon and the savant of his age. This new enlarged volume contains much of Gibran's magnificent poetry and various prose pieces, which he wrote when scarcely 20 years old. Translated superbly into English from his beloved mother tongue of Arabic, these timeless writings reveal his remarkably mature grasp of a subject which has challenged philosophers throughout history until today: man's destiny and the meaning of his existence. In this volume also is Gibran's heralded story, The Bride's Bed, a strange, gripping tale that is both a plea for individual liberty and an expression of his bitter condemnation of prearranged marriages of children by their parents. It is widely recognized that Gibran, through the razor-sharp attacks in this story and others like it, was responsible in great part for many social, political, and religious reforms throughout the East. So I actually already opened to a page when I picked up the book to lay it down, and I bookmarked it, so we are going to go to that page. It just felt right because it was quite a proper poem-looking poem, and it's not too long, whereas some of the things in this book can be pretty long. So, your writing is called Song of the Flower. I am a kind word uttered and repeated by the voice of nature. I am a star fallen from the blue tent upon the green carpet. I am the daughter of the elements with whom winter conceived, to whom spring gave birth. I was reared in the lap of summer, and I slept in the bed of autumn. At dawn, I unite with the breeze to announce the coming of light. At eventide, I join the birds in bidding the light farewell. The plains are decorated with my beautiful colors, and the air is scented with my fragrance. As I embrace slumber, the eyes of night watch over me, and as I awaken, I stare at the sun, which is the only eye of the day. I drink dew for wine, and hearken to the voices of the birds, and dance to the rhythmic swaying of the grass. I am the lover's gift. I am the wedding wreath. I am the memory of a moment of happiness. I am the last gift of the living to the dead. I am part of joy, and a part of sorrow. I am a part of joy and a part of sorrow. But I look up high to see only the light, and never look down to see my shadow. This is the wisdom which man must learn. It's really beautiful. I've never read this poem before. I was doing a little reading about Khalil Gibran before this reading, because as much as I've loved the books of his that I have read, I didn't know that much about him. And one new thing that I learned was how he really focused on nature at the center. I would say even nature at the center of divinity from what I've read now, and that it's only when we are in nature and one with nature that we can truly connect with the divine. And especially reading this poem now, I feel like that will be a big part of your reading. Group 3. This isn't going to stay open, so I'll just bookmark it in case we need to come back to it. Leave it over here. What words would convey my truth today? This is what I'm afraid to say, but I know it will set me free to say it. Then you have, how will you bridge the distance between self-care and service? Between there and here, there is the frequency of love. We are related to each other. By taking care of myself, I take care of you. By taking care of you, I take care of myself. This is my prayer for knowing how to help. So this is really beautiful. You have the energy of the heart chakra and the energy of the throat chakra. So I wonder if there's something that is bridging the gap between those two energies in your life. Maybe you're somebody who so often keeps the words light, kind of like the end of this poem, right? I look up high to see only the light and never look down to see my shadow. This is the wisdom which man must learn. Yeah, I feel like there's something with that within your communication of like always choosing your words for good. And I'm wondering if there's a way that you can do that while still staying in this frequency of love and honoring yourself, honoring your boundaries, and speaking with love. I want to get a little bit more information. I wonder if being in nature can help you process the energy of these two energies, like through being in nature, walking in nature, the words will just come to you. You'll know what to say, or you'll be so imbued with the peace and the groundedness from nature that the words will just come more naturally. You have fierce love, the Kali at the bottom, and egoism, Asmita at the top. Yeah, so I wonder if part of this before or now has been partially keeping your true feelings to yourself because of perhaps like egoic attachment of being like the good guy, maybe being like a people pleaser, telling people what they want to hear, or just trying to keep everyone happy. And I feel like this group is learning that they can be fierce and loving at the same time, that you can be truthful and loving at the same time. It's making me think of that Ram Dass story where Maharaji was telling him, Ram Dass, tell the truth and love everyone. And he kept thinking the truth, or like saying like the truth is that I don't love everyone. And I feel like that is sort of the duality here, is finding the way through telling the truth and loving everyone. You have Svataya, self-study. Anulam Vilam Pranayama, energy purification breath, with the images of the Kundalini, Ida and Pingala. You have Dharma, life's purpose. Pratyahara, turning inward. And asana, physical postures. Interesting. So, The first thing I see that I'm noticing is the turning inward and looking at yourself, looking at your own reflection and seeing what's there. Perhaps if you've been dealing with like a difficult person or a difficult situation, looking more closely at it and seeing what about it might still be alive in you for it to be bothering you so much. Maybe part of this is going inward to discover what your truth is, to better understand your truth. And that might be linked with your life's purpose of knowing how to help. It's all connected. I feel like with asana physical postures, that's more for like balancing. You know, you have a couple of images here of balance, messages of balance. The breath work, the images of the Kundalini of Ida and Pingala moving up the chakras. If you've been feeling like you've needed more physical exercise, perhaps picking up a yoga practice and getting in your body more, part of this might just be that maybe you've been in your head a little bit. And maybe that's where, you know, judgment is coming from. Maybe that's where you might be overthinking something, withholding truth for the sake of being in the heart, or using the truth outside of the heart. If you think of the first two yamas of the yamas and niyamas, it's nonviolence and truthfulness. So how can you be truthful and nonviolent? Being honest with yourself and others while doing no harm. I want to read the breath for you so you can practice it. Maybe you can practice it now and even follow the instruction. So first it says the energy purification breath is also known as Nadi Shodhana breathing, and the qualities are balance and glow. Yeah, so balancing the mind and the body so that you can really live in the heart and just let that speak for you. I actually love Nadi Shodhana breathing. I didn't even realize it was also called Anulam Vilam Pranayama. It says, Kundalini rising is when the primal energy, or the snake sleeping at the base of the spine, is released upwards because of spiritual practices including meditation, asana, and pranayama. Nadi Shodhana frees the channels so energy can flow freely. Instructions for Anulam Vilam Pranayama are to sit tall and open your heart center. Relax your left palm comfortably on your lap. And with your right hand, bring your pointer finger and middle finger to rest between your eyebrows. Take a deep breath in and out through your nose. Close your right nostril with your right thumb. Inhale through the left nostril. Close the left nostril with your ring finger so both nostrils are held closed. Retain your breath at the top of the inhale for a brief pause. Open your right nostril and release the breath slowly through the right side. Pause briefly at the bottom of the exhale. Inhale through the right slowly. Hold both nostrils closed with the ring finger and thumb, and then open your left nostril and release breath slowly through the left side. Pause briefly at the bottom. Repeat for 5 to 10 cycles, allowing your mind to follow your inhales and exhales. The Yoga Sutra is, by mastery over the Udana nerve current, the upward moving prana, one accomplishes levitations over water, swamps, thorns, and so on, and can leave the body at will. And the reflections are, what is your truth? Where is the energy blocked? And take time to feel energy flowing up and down your spine. Affirmation: inhale all that serves me, exhale all that doesn't. So maybe that's part of your truth, is being honest about what actually does serve you and what doesn't, and that's part of taking care of yourself so that you can truly take care of others. Living a more balanced life, truly looking at yourself and knowing what needs to be done and acting on it. The final message for group 3. At the bottom you have King of Cups, which is very much in the heart and the truth and service, kindness, compassion. And the Page of Cups, very watery. Yeah, so I feel like part of this, you're evolving your emotional body from the Page to the King. I actually want to take them out and put them here. Sort of evolving from, I don't want to say like this immature way of living in the heart, but maybe from even a wounded way of living in the heart, a way that you were potentially taught in childhood, since the Page is a child here, and into your true way of being and serving in the world. What fell out on the ground is the 7 of Swords, and I feel like this is you. I think it's interesting, the interplay of tears and laughter too. The book Tears and Laughter, and the image of tears and laughter, the mask, the happy mask, the tears. And I keep coming back to the last part of what Khalil Gibran said, of always looking to the light and never looking at the shadow. I feel like there's something about that that's coming into the balance. Like maybe you internally look so deeply at your shadow, and that's why you put on this light, sunny disposition on the outside. But maybe there's not really healing that's happening with it because it's being bypassed with the sunny disposition. And I feel like maybe there's a need to look at the shadow, but with compassion rather than like the energy of punishment. Like seeing what the shadow has been serving and like hearing what it needs to say, so that you can let aspects of it go, or perhaps just like harmful patterns that are coming from it. Or maybe even just to let your shadow be. Like I wonder if there are habits or patterns that are coming out to protect part of the shadow that doesn't want to be seen. But letting the shadow be seen is the truth, and it is loving. And then you have the 9 of Swords, which talks about fear. Fear and anxiety. So I feel like it's really that you're afraid to show what's behind the mask. But it is your truth. And the most loving thing that you can do is to be your whole self. Instead of hiding behind this mask and letting the demon whisper in your ear at night, telling you that you're somehow unworthy because of this. Because this landed on the asana card, I do feel like physical exercise, and especially yoga, will be really helpful for you to feel empowered and to let go of the fear that's holding you back from becoming the King of Cups, that's keeping you in the Page of Cups. Maybe avoiding feeling through some kind of habit. If there's one thing I feel like this group should know, it's that who you are is so beautiful. And there's no need to judge yourself. Your truth is beautiful, your heart is beautiful. You don't have to hide who you are to be accepted. You are accepted by the divine, and by those who truly are your people. And it's really important that you come to accept yourself. I think it's interesting with this group that where the shadow cuts off, because I have a little light up on a shelf up here, is where the truth is, and this anxiety and this hiding and this fear. It's time to come out of the shadows. Group 3. Spend some time in nature and in silence with yourself, hearing your truth and seeing yourself. And when you feel safe admitting it to yourself, soon after maybe you can feel safe enough admitting it to others. So group 3, that was your reading. I hope that that was helpful for you. I appreciate you for being here. If you did receive something of value from this, I super appreciate likes, subscribes, and comments to bring in more people to these messages. So, I hope to see you next time. Thank you so much. Bye. Hey Group 4, and welcome to your reading. You chose The Doubted Chain by Lao Tzu. I'll just read the back for you for a little background. So it says the Lao Tzu, as it's usually called, is the principal classic in the thought of Taoism, traditionally ascribed to one Lao Tzu, an older contemporary of Confucius. The work is more probably an anthology of wise sayings compiled in about the 4th century BC. As a treatise both on personal conduct and on government, it is a moral rather than mystical in tone, and advances a philosophy of meekness as the surest path of survival. In the clear English of D.C. Lao's translation of this famous Chinese book can be enjoyed especially for its pure poetry. Beautiful, so let's dive in, my friends. Let's read both of them. I mean, my eyes first came to this, but it feels like a continuation of this. 30 and 31. One who assists the ruler of men by means of the way does not intimidate the empire by a show of arms. This is something which is liable to rebound where troops have encamped. There will brambles grow. In the wake of a mighty army, bad harvests follow without fail. One who is good aims only at bringing his campaign to a conclusion and dare not thereby intimidate. Bring it to a conclusion, but do not boast. Bring it to a conclusion, but do not brag. Bring it to a conclusion, but do not be arrogant. Bring it to a conclusion, but only when there is no choice. Bring it to a conclusion, but do not intimidate. A creature in its prime doing harm to the old is known as going against the way. That which goes against the way will come to an early end. It is because arms are instruments of ill omen, and there are things that detest them, that one who has the way does not abide by their use. The gentleman gives precedence to the left when at home, but to the right when he goes to war. Arms are instruments of ill omen, not the instruments of a gentleman. When one is compelled to use them, it is best to do so without relish. There is no glory in victory, and to glorify it despite this is to exult in the killing of men. One who exults in the killing of men will never have his way in the empire. On occasions of rejoicing, precedence is given to the left. On occasions of mourning, precedence is given to the right. The lieutenant's place is on the left. The general's place is on the right. This means that it is mourning rites that are observed. Interesting. What this makes me think of is pride. Like, do your duty, but don't be prideful. Do your duty, but don't use it to make others feel less than. Do your duty, but don't do it to bring fear. It says twice, bring it to a conclusion, but do not intimidate. I also see nonviolence, as like a huge overtone of this. A creature in its prime doing harm to the old is known as going against the way. and going against the way will come to an early end. Yeah, it also feels like just like try picking on someone your own size. That part. Well, let's look at your cards, you guys. We have messages already of letting go of pride, being nonviolent, doing no harm, doing only what is necessary and not going beyond that. Just stay on the path of the way. At the bottom you have who within you chooses. I choose to be the source. I choose to be adaptable. I choose to be safe. I choose to be sweet. I choose to be strong. I choose to be clear. I choose to be. So first you have a little practice. It says to place your hands on your solar plexus just below your heart and listen to your breathing. Surrender, lose track, come back. These are the blessings I offer to the mothers and fathers. And then you have, this is my prayer to embody faith in myself. So I feel like a big message here for you guys is empowerment. But like a balanced empowerment. You don't want the solar plexus to get out of control or imbalanced, to place blame on the mothers and fathers, saying in what we just read, that to harm those who came before, to bring harm to those who came before is to go against the way. So part of this might be some kind of healing, forgiveness with the mothers and fathers. And maybe that will bring you into more of an empowered state of mind, like you may have been holding on to disempowered beliefs because of what happened to you in childhood or what was handed down to you by your parents. You have, this is how I remember to see each day as a gift. What memories open your eyes and soften your gaze? I would say the opposite of that too, like which memories have you been holding on to that don't do that? This is my prayer to be at home within myself. And how will you practice in believing in yourself today? This is how it feels when I believe in myself. If you are drawn to group 2, I would listen to group 2 as well, because you have a few similar cards from that group. But yeah, so part of this is getting into your body and working with your internal fire, your tapas, to help you believe in yourself more and to have more confidence. If you had confidence in the past and lost it, that might have to do with what we read in the Tao Te Ching, like maybe the confidence became unbalanced and it turned into pride. That might have been that was taken away because it was out of balance. If that didn't happen, then take it as a warning to, yes, work on your confidence through generating more heat in the body and getting into the body, and don't let it spin you out. Right? Like, don't let it overwhelm you and become egotism and pride. Like, you can be proud of yourself, but don't be prideful. You have enlightenment showing up at the bottom, and awaken. Let's take those. I like those. And then you have brahmacharya, moderation. Yeah, that has a lot to do with the solar plexus as well, so that makes sense, making sure that you're not being so self-limiting that you end up kind of like relapsing on whatever it is. Like, say you go on a diet and your diet is so intense that then you break and just eat like a ton of like pizza and ice cream and candy and things that harm you in like way too much, versus like having a diet that welcomes balance. Like, instead of just making yourself eat lettuce all the time, like, yeah, have some grains, have some butter, have some cheese, like, have some fish. I don't know what your diet is, but balance, basically, moderation with brahmacharya. You have moksha, liberation. That's what's at the center here. And then you have Bhastrika Pranayama, bellows breath. Yeah, so this will also help create the inner fire. I'm going to read this one to you so that you have the instructions for it. The qualities of Bhastrika Pranayama are high energy and expansion. This crane expands and contracts its wings swiftly to take flight. It's like the movement of your ribs with each breath, full and intense. It helps shift vital energy to every part of your body. Bhastrika Pranayama is the most intensive pranayama. It is best in the morning because of its energizing breath. As with all pranayama, come back to your natural breath if you feel lightheaded. Refrain from this breath if you are pregnant or have blood pressure issues. Instructions for Bhastrika Pranayama. Sit tall in a comfortable seat. Inhale and exhale in rapid succession through your nose 10 times per round. Repeat rounds 3 times. Return to your natural breath between rounds, and when you're finished, notice the effects of Bhastrika on your body and mind. The Yoga Sutra is these mental modifications are restrained by practice and non-attachment. Of these two, effort towards steadiness is practice. Your reflections are you feeling stuck and open to refreshing your mind-body? Bhastrika is a good practice for sluggish and lazy behavior. Notice the stale air in your lungs get replenished. Information, interesting. Affirmation, inhale the nectar of life, exhale heartache. I think it's interesting that I said information there. I wonder if doing this will give you some information about yourself or something. Yeah. I mean, the key here, you guys, is to really work on your personal empowerment and generating tapas, fire energy in your core. And that will help you believe and have faith and also connect with your crown. It feels like almost a straight shot. Like as you come into your body and create heat in your body and your core, your crown will open more. Final message for group 4. Yeah, a lot of the cards coming up are about empowerment, honestly, and fire energy. You have the 4 of Cups reversed at the bottom and Temperance at the top. So, like, the lack of moderation is what's creating the sort of like sluggish, bored, uninspired feeling. So bringing that balance, bringing in more heat and fire, again, is what's going to help you break out of whatever this weird little cycle is. Then you have the Prince of Swords and the Ace of Cups. So, yeah, again, as you take this action, like, and don't even think about it, just do it, the more that you'll experience this peace and fulfillment and harmony. It's almost like right now, because of the state that you've been in and the way that you've been living, a lot of the energy is centered in your mind as mental chatter and your body is like blocked up. But through doing practices to strengthen your core and your confidence, like exercising, running, doing Pilates, doing the Bastrika Pranayama breath. Through doing those things and having, like, cultivating self-control, that's what'll actually help you feel peace. Because it's almost like there's maybe just not been enough energy movement in your life, and that's why you're not experiencing peace. You need the energy movement to experience that peace, harmony, and oneness with yourself. Okay, group 4, that's what I have for you. Thank you so much for tuning in today. I hope that this was helpful for you and that you can reclaim your personal power in a balanced way that'll bring you deeper peace and feelings of enlightenment and awakening, reawakening. So thank you so much for being here. If this benefited you, I super appreciate like subscribes, comments, shares. Thank you so much, and I hope to see you next time. Bye.